Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you everyone for joining us. Today we will continue on the Farmans of the Imam of the time. We do have a subtitle this week for today and tomorrow, and that is self-reflection. This morning, I was looking at some messages and someone had posted one of the Imam Shah Karim al-Husseini quotation, very short line, and it says, the faith, Iman, cannot be inherited. You cannot give your faith to your children. They are born in this tariqah, and the faith, the Iman, can be completed and can become firm if ilm and then reflection on it, meaning if you learn and if you reflect on it. And then there were two more words. If you understand it and if you follow it, then your faith, your Iman will become firm. Since there was no quotation, I'm not sure which Farman that was, but nevertheless, it was a beautiful saying and make a perfect logic. That we are born and we are born Ismailis, but we don't know anything about our tariqah. Unless and until we have knowledge of our tariqah, we reflect on it, we understand our tariqah, and then follow. Same goes for the Farman. If ilm, the knowledge is the Farman, then reflect on it, understand the Faramin, and then take the action. So inshallah, I thought it was beautiful, and it just happened to be that as I was waking up this morning, I saw this message, and it just touched my heart, and it was in perfect time for today's session, because our subject is self-reflection. During the Taknashini, Mawlana Shah Rahim al-Husseini Hazrat Imam Salawatullah alayhi Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad says, now it is the time for us all to reflect on how our 49th Imam, Shah Karim al-Husseini, touched all our lives. Most all of us, regardless of our age, unless you are over the age of 70, we only knew one Imam. We grew up with that Imam. We got old with that Imam. And we received Didar, Inshallah, Isme Azam, all his Farameen, again and again. And one way or the other, he touched our lives, physical life, material life, religious life, spiritual life. And this was the very Imam which have given us now the 50th Imam of the time. Shah Karim, in his very first Farman, talks about how his grandfather was the finest Imam ever. What he had achieved in his 72 years of Imamat only could be achieved in many generations. Shah Rahim talks about Shah Karim, that he was a visionary, and what he have achieved during his lifetime is unparalleled. So what was about these two Imams and 140 years of Imamat? That's a long time. 140 years of Imamat between these two Imams. And what was about their time? If somebody would reflect on this fact, and again, remember our subject is Imam of the time and self-reflection. What was about them and their time? Just a soft history lesson reminder. When Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah Salawatullah Alaihi, may our soul be sacrificed to their Imam, came on the seat of the Imamat at the early age of 8. We can easily say the planet Earth, this world, was in darkness. There was no electricity, no trains. Motor vehicle didn't come until 1900, whereas he was Imam in 1885. The travel was very, very hard, and it would take days, weeks, and months. Most of the world was under the colonialism of the British government. The slavery was a regular thing, a common theme at that time. And look where we are in 2025, at the end of that 140 years between these two Imams. Imam Shah Sultan Muhammad Shah in 1954 said that we are talking about going to the moon, whereas I started with the horse carriage and no electricity. Within that 72 year, not only the motor vehicle, planes, they were talking about rockets and going to moon. And then technological revolution, after the industrial revolution, in Shah Karim's time, not only we had gone to the moon multiple times, but they were already exploring the other planets. The science have taken the world from the earth to the heaven. Then what about the spiritual science? What did Imam do, or this two Imam do for the Mu'mineen? Did Mu'mineen also go from earth to the heaven spiritually? Or was this all Zahiri and physical? All the achievement were just temporary and physical, not everlasting and spiritual. What do you think? This is exactly the self-reflection that Imam keep talking about. That we should reflect on how did our 49th Imam and how can our 48th Imam was the finest Imam ever. What was about these two Imams and how did it touch our lives? Lives, not just this physical life, not just you and me, one, but everyone's life. The believers and disbelievers. Those who only look at the physical world and those who look at the spiritual world. How did it touch our lives? This is the self-reflection we are talking about here. Let's move into the Farman. And we have few Faramin. This today lesson will be more of a verbal talk, self-reflection, and maybe at the end, discussion. How did it touch our lives? Did we get anything from these two Imams to help us move on to the better world physically and spiritually? Did we go from the earth to the heaven? Or did we remain on the earth? But our intellect, our thoughts have reached the highest heaven physically and spiritually. Please recite the Holy Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Taknashini, Farman, Lisbon, February 11, 2025. My beloved spiritual children, as your 50th Imam, I said that there will be no compromise in the principles and practice of Shia Ismaili Tariqa of Islam. Where change is needed, I will reflect, consult, and guide. But there will be no change in our fundamental principles. This two line tells us the core of our tariqah, the fundamental principle of our tariqah never changes. That means this was the same in the time of Sultan Muhammad Shah, time of Shah Karim, will remain in the time of Shah Rahim today. The core does not change. The core is the batin of our tariqah. We may be living in a modern world, technological world. We may have changed our countries. Our way of talking and walking, our homes and cars may have changed. But the core of our tariqah does not change. Further, Mawlana says, our path is one of balance. We start to keep balance between deen and dunya, the faith and the world, never forsaking one for the other. Keep your faith present in your lives at all times. Keep your faith present in your lives all the times. Remember the name of Allah. Remember the name of Muhammad, the name of Hazrat Ali, the names of all your Imams. This will give you strength and courage to navigate life's inevitable challenges and will bring you peace and happiness. I'm certain of this, and it is my prayer that my Jamaat finds peace and happiness. Ameen. This one paragraph tells us that Imam very much wants us to keep our faith always present in our lives. Our day-to-day life should be under the Farman, guided by the Farman and by the ethics of Islam. Our faith, our Iman, and how do we make our Imam, our Iman, our faith firm? Knowledge, reflect, understand, and follow. Imam further goes, today I ordained a document that reforms and updates the constitution of the Shia Ismaili, Imami Ismaili Muslims, and which serve as the framework for the Jamaat's organization and governors. This constitution of 11th February 2025 will now apply for the Jamaat worldwide. As all of you know, Imam in their time, I believe Shah Karim changed the constitution twice. Once, as he took on the Imamate back in 1957, somewhere in 1958, and then again around 1970s or 80s. That's the two times that I remember. Maybe there was one more time. But Imam of the time changed the constitution, amends, add, omits, according to the time. According to the time. And we, the Jamaat, are guided by that constitution. The updates reflect, amongst other things, the recognition of the seat of the Ismaili Imamate in Lisbon. some of you may remember that London was the seat of the Imamate, and then it changed to France, Eglemont, in the time of Shah Karim. And then now it changed to Lisbon, Portugal, with Shah Rahim Al Husseini. Someone may ask, but it was Shah Karim who chose Lisbon at the end. Was that a preparation for the 50th Imam? As our seat remained in Eglemont. But with officially recognizing the seat of the Ismaili Imamate in Lisbon with the 50th Imam. And the change in the terminology which makes reference to persons and positions, general, neutral. I will continue with the practice of adjusting the constitution over time to take account of evolving Jamaati needs. So here comes that constitution may change according to the time and the place as Imam see fit. Circumstances may require new or different institutions, and the responsibility of the Imam is to enable the institution to be responsive to the needs of the time and to anticipate the future. Again, some of you may remember in the time of Shah Karim, the Tariqa board was not called Tariqa board. There was one council under which the physical and spiritual side of the Jamaat were guided. And then Shah Karim changed, and not only the council became the part of the physical side of the Ismaili Tariqa, but under the council, many new institutions and departments were opened according to the time and the fitting the need of the Jamaat. In some countries, under the council, one window, social welfare board, and other departments were opened, especially in the third world countries. And then in the other developed country, there were different departments according to the places, need of the Jamaat. Imam goes further, I intend to provide continuity and stability in our institutions and will introduce changes in a measured way with the goal of constantly improving our efficiency and effectiveness. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Let's ask some question. If Imam is talking about changes, constant changes, do we think about changes? Do we ever think about what part of our lives are ordained and cannot be changed? And what part of our lives can be modified to fit the needs, to adjust in the environment we are living in? And we do that sometimes. We fight and ignore, but mostly we change our behavior according to Imam's Farman and according to the country where we live. And we have great examples of migration from Indo-Pak to Africa. How did we adjust in Africa? Africa to the European countries, Canada and Americas. How did we adjust? So we do have a great habit of quickly adjusting, but are we at the same time adjusting to the spiritual side? How did we practice our tariqah in Indo-Pak, where the Jamaat Khana would be in the center of the town and everyone would just walk to Jamaat Khana morning and evening? How did we adjust when we moved into cities or in different continents like Africa or Europe or Americas? How did we adjust? So let's see, let's reflect and ask ourselves some questions. What is not changeable? So we are born as human. We cannot change that. We are human. What we can change within the human part, are we living a true human life? Are we living the life as an animal and just look like human? Or are we living the life of angels and just look like human? Yeah, that part can be changed, and we must ask. That reminds me of the Farman of the 40th Imam, where Imam says, he is asking a question. Ask yourself, what is the difference between you and an animal? Animals are born, and so are you. Animals eat, and so are you. Animals make babies, and so are you. Animal dies, and so do you. What's the difference between you and the animal? Imam asks us to reflect and think about our lives. But the same Imam told us that we can be like angels. Then what does angel do? What is the attribution of angels? We're still going to remain human. It's not that if we become angel, we're going to fly away. Just like if we become animal, we don't start walking on 4 feet, hand and feet. We still walk straight. We still look like human. So if we become angels, we're not going to fly away. We're still going to walk on the earth. So where do we stand? Are we a good human? Have we become like angels? Or are we acting like animal? Because those things which Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah ask us question and reflect on, those are the attribution equal to animal. What is the different thing are we doing? And what do we have? Intellect. We are logical people. Inshallah, we are good human. Inshallah, we are good mu'mineens. Inshallah, we are caring. We take care of others. We understand our faith. Inshallah, we reflect on Imam's Farman. Inshallah, we follow the Faramin of the Imam Zaman after reflecting and understanding. So being human is ordained. We cannot change that. But we can change what kind of human we are. Then we are born smiley. We cannot change where we are born. But how good or practicing or honest mu'min we are, Ismailis we are. Again, the Farman of 40th Imam. There are many amongst you who have enrolled yourself as Ismailis, but they do not know anything about our tariqah. Now this Farman is asking us that yes, you are born human and you are born Ismaili, and therefore you are an Ismaili in name. But what do you know about your tariqah? If somebody say, well, I know who the Imam is, where the Jamaat Khana is, I know my dua, I know my tasbih, I have enrolled myself in majalis, and therefore I am an Ismaili and I know my tariqah. But then if you even ask some non-Ismaili, some other Muslim or some other Christian who would study and research, they will tell you who the Imam is, where the Jamaat Khanas are, what are the practices within our Jamaat Khanas. Then what is the difference between you and them? You could say, we have taken the bay'ah of the Imam. Then someone can say, does every Ismaili who have taken the bay'ah are truly the follower of the Imam's Farman, of the Imam of the time? Self-reflection. What's the difference between you who have taken the bay'ah and other who have taken the bay'ah? How are you following the Farman? Reflect on that. Are you an Ismaili by name, or are you Ismaili by practicing? And I'm not just talking about Shariat of Ismaili Tariqah. Again, the same 40th Imam says that coming to Jamaat Khana does not constitute you a Momin. Because if you come to Jamaat Khana, you are gossiping, backbiting. After leaving the Jamaat Khana, you are living a life of an animal. That does not constitute you to be a Momin. The Momin is the true Momin when he practices according to the ethics of Islam, according to the rules and regulation under the Farman of the Imam of the time. That's what makes him a Momin. Even if they are not coming to Jamaat Khana regularly, even if they miss the dua every now and then, but they are following, understanding the Farman of the Imam. And they are a good human. That makes them a Mu'min. So we are human, we cannot change that. We are smiley, but how we live, our tariqah can be changed. We cannot change that we were born smiley. But how we reflect on being what we are and how we practice our tariqah can be changed and adopted. And then we are born in a family. We cannot change that. But how we treat and behave within our family, that part can be changed. Then our worldly work and whatever business we do, we have to live, we have to eat, so we work. That part cannot be changed. But how you behave with your worker, your employees, your bosses, people around you, that can be changed and change for the better. But how do we change all of these things? Only when we reflect on ourselves and ask ourselves, is my behavior according to the ethics of Islam? Is my behavior correct under the farman of the Imam of the time? It's not about what others says about you. It's how you see yourself. Because the best judge of you is you yourself. And you are the one who can reflect upon you. The last thing, where you live, in the communities you live amongst. You cannot change your community. Because a lot of time people try to change the community, the other people. No, only person you can change and have power over is yourself. Even your children, your friends, your family, they have a free will. The person that can be changed is you yourself. So how do you behave in the community that you live in? It does not matter who they are. It only matters who you are. It doesn't matter how they are living their lives. It only matters how you are living your life. If they are good, good for them. If they are bad, good for them. How do you interact with your community? That matters. And all of this starts with the self-reflection. The very last line on this page, Shah Rahim Al-Hussaini Hazri Imam Salawatullah alayhi emphasize that you will soon have printed access to the Farmans. So now we have no excuse that we do not have Farmans. So you may reflect upon them, not only reflect upon them, act on them. Because listening to the Farman from the one ear and out of the other, or not reflecting at all, or not understanding the Faramin, will leave you nowhere. Imam of the time, recognition of Imam of the time, and understanding his Faramin, and then following on it will change, inshallah, our life. And this is all from the one single Farman, the very first Farman of Tak Nashini. Do you see how detailed this Farman is? Mullah says, keep learning. Education is more important than ever in the changing world. Good education compresses knowledge, acquisition, and critical thinking. But it also includes life skill, the ability to receive, the ability to be reactive and reflective, and to be forward thinking and adaptable, and to keep learning. Shah Karim, in one of his Farman, says, the education is not for the purpose of making money, but to reflect on the creation of God. Because education gives you abilities to change, ability to react, and how you react to things is very important. And then how do you reflect on the environment and the things that is happening around you? Self-reflection again and again will help you improve your life. Not only physically, inshallah, physically also, but a permanent life, which is a spiritual life. Have we reflect on our spiritual life today? We need to think about it, and then we need to adapt, learn, and inshallah change for the better. And then this last paragraph, learn from each other. Learn from each other. The diversity in our Jamaat is a great strength. What we can learn from each other is an education that would be hard to find anywhere else. The schools and colleges can teach you, but what you can learn from each other, you cannot find that anywhere else. What we can learn from each other is an education that would be hard to find anywhere else. Learn from each other about your cultures and your histories. Share your personal stories and your experiences. Take an interest in each other. Respect and celebrate each other. This will not only remind you who you are, but it will also teach you that you are part of a bigger whole and share a common bond as Ismailis. It will build your confidence and strength our unity. Very, very important, because we have all kind of Jamaati members around us. So when I was looking at this paragraph, I was reflecting on it. When Imam says learn from each other, is Imam talking about if they are gossiping and backbiting, then you should learn from them? Who should we learn from? If they are good, learn and adopt. If they are bad, learn and keep your distance. Because you can learn from those who are unethical people. And what do you learn? What not to do. Our peers have said that if you hear someone gossiping and backbiting, you should have a strength and courage enough, a spiritual power within yourself to walk away. Sometimes it's very hard for some of us. Walk away. Because that takes a lot of courage and spiritual strength to do so. Because they have a free will to do what they need to do. You should have a free will too. To not do what they are doing to the others. We can change that part. And then when we have opportunity, don't argue, but you can teach. Because they will definitely ask you, why did you walk away? They will give you all kind of excuses. Oh no, I was not gossiping. I was not backbiting. I was telling the truth. So and so person is no good. Well, that is exactly what backbiting is. I will finish with this story, a tradition of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One time, a man came to our Hazrat and said, Ya Huzur, I know a person who's saying a lot of bad things about you. May I have a permission to tell you what he's saying about you and Islam? Our Hazrat stopped him and said, let's say you are right about so and so, about that person. And now you wanted to tell me which is true. That would be gossiping and backbiting. And I do not want to be part of that. But let's say you have misunderstood what he has done and what he has said. And then if you tell me, that would be slander. And slander is even worse than gossiping and backbiting. And I do not want to be involved in that. And with that, respectfully, our Hazrat asked the gentleman to leave his presence. With that, I will leave all of us to reflect on this. And inshallah, we will continue to learn, and we will keep learning from each other. And if you have a comment, if you understood something, keep it short. If you wanted to share your experience, keep it short. We will be happy to listen to you. If you have a question, then keep your question short and focused, so we may have an opportunity to reflect on it and then answer it. Thank you.